All right, so let's get started. And nothing too specific for props today. I think probably just what you normally like to use. And I'm going to start in a seat personally, but feel free to start however you're most comfortable, just to kind of get centered and begin. So you can sit up on a prop if you're sitting with me. Good idea to do that just to help your spine feel a little bit more comfortable. Cross legs is fine. Sitting on the heels is fine. And then just see if there's any sort of initial movement that your body needs before you can settle down. You might be ready to just come right into stillness, and that's good too. Finding that place where you feel like you're sitting up tall without over efforting. So just very, very gentle, easy seat. And let's take a moment to allow things to settle. And as you're doing that, just kind of noticing what your breath is wanting to do. If it feels like it's high up in your chest or a little lower down into your belly. If it feels like your body wants deep breaths or if it's wanting to keep things shallow. So just see if you can notice without judging, just whatever your breath is doing. You might want to take a moment to notice the earth beneath your body. Notice the land that you're on and your relationship with it, which includes the season and the weather. And you may also want to check in with any specific intentions that you're coming into your practice with today. The general intention of this class, of course, is feel good yoga, right? We're here to feel good. That can mean lots of different things. So for now, just kind of noticing that and seeing if there are any other intentions that are there too. And then when you feel ready, you can start to move. I'm already kind of moving a little bit. I've been feeling a lot of spiraling, wanting to sort of spiral and circle. So you're welcome to do that with me, or you could do a simple seated cat and cow, just rocking your heart forward and back. And if you're comfortable with it, I'll invite you to close your eyes and see if you can just kind of allow your body to teach you how it needs to move in this moment. And of course, we'll do some more guided movement, but it's really nice to just sort of practice listening into the rhythms and the shapes that your body is kind of needing at different times. And you can include your shoulders, maybe your neck. Maybe deepening your breath as you're doing this. And we'll take maybe about 5 more breaths just to move a little more intuitively. Okay, and then eventually we'll come just to a soft upright seat and we'll twist in one direction. Okay, so I can mirror you here. It doesn't matter which side you do first. You can take the right hand behind you, left hand across to the thigh, gently drawing the shoulders down, chin in, chest tall, and turn. You can also draw your shoulders a little more down your back and see how it feels to bring your right ear down towards your right shoulder, getting a little bit of a stretch into the neck. And then come up through center and come out just a little bit so that your heart is facing roughly in the direction of your knee if you are sitting cross-legged like me. And we'll just gently fold down to any amount, so on a little bit of an angle. You might feel that stretch a little bit into the lower back. Just gentle there. And if it's not already, have your right hand, your far hand down on the earth beside your body. And then reach the left arm up and open. So you're just opening the chest gently here. Spreading the chest, drawing the shoulders down the back, maybe looking up. And then gently return to center, spine and center. Take a pause, just feeling that little sequence. If there's some movement that you want or need in between the two sides, feel free to take that. And then we'll gently twist to the second side. So left hand behind you, right hand across, hugging the shoulders down the back, lifting your heart. Drawing the shoulders down a little bit more. And if it feels good, you could bring your left ear to your left shoulder. Okay, gently through center, and then just pointing your heart in the direction of your knee or the top left corner of the room kind of situation, and folding gently over that leg. So it's a little bit of a sideways fold. Then when you're ready, gently up through center, left fingertips or palm just beside you, right arm opens to the sky. Nice open chest, a bit of a side bend, but nothing too dramatic here. Beautiful. And then gently bring yourself back up through center. Take a moment just to feel that. You can roll your shoulders if you like. Good. And then let's release the legs. You can give them a little shake out in front of you. You might also want to take the windshield wipers, washing your bent knees from side to side. And then let's come to our hands and our knees, or fists and knees, or elbows and knees. And we're going to come back to that kind of intuitive quality here with the breath. So cat and cow, inhaling into a little back bend, exhaling to round, just as we did in a seat. And just as we did in a seat, you are more than welcome to add some intuitive movement, circles, moving side to side. Or you can keep it classic and just do your cat and cow. That's great too. And if you're comfortable closing your eyes, that can help us to focus inward a little bit more rather than on what we look like. And even if you're not doing the cat and cow, I'd love for you to have a nice rhythmic breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And then let's come down into a Anahatasana. So I'm tucking my toes under and I like to widen my knees a little bit. I'm sticking my bum up to the sky and it's slightly behind my knees. I'm walking my fingertips forward and melting my heart. So it's a little bit like child's pose. It's a little bit like downward dog. Nice release for the chest and the upper back. Awesome. And then let's come to our bellies. So you can make your way all the way forward onto your belly. And we'll do a little bit of work here prone. And if you're not working on your belly today, you could do this seated, I think all of this. Okay, so we're just gonna start with a cactus arms. So the elbows are roughly in line with the shoulders, fingers spread. Top of the feet press down, pubic bone presses down so the glutes are engaged. And as you inhale, just gently lift the chest, the elbows can rise a bit. And as you exhale, come down. So we're just gonna work with the breath up and down. It's really nice lower back medicine. If you want to come up a little higher, your hands can come in closer to you, but we're just kind of squeezing and releasing that lower back. Maybe holding the next time you come up, you could stay for a breath or two, hugging the elbows a little bit down, nice and long through the neck and belly. And then gently release down and take a rest on your belly. You can relax the heels apart, maybe wobble the bum side to side. And then let's reach the arms back behind us and you can interlace the fingers around behind your back, or you could do this with a strap if it's more comfortable for you. That's great. Press the tops of the feet down, pubic bone down. Draw the elbows together and then gently pull the heart up, pressing the fists away, getting this nice opening into the chest. Keep the ears long away from the shoulders so you're not craning to look forward. You can look gently down and hug those shoulder blades together, opening the chest. And then gently come down, forehead, chin, or cheek to the earth. Relax the bum again. Okay, and then we're just going to carefully flip over onto our back. So just be gentle with your lower back as you turn. And then draw your knees into your chest. And you can gently rock from side to side, just releasing the lower back. If you like a happy baby, you could take your knees wide, soles of the feet up to the sky. That's also quite nice for the lower back. And then you can extend your legs up to the sky and give them a shake. You do that with your hands too. Let's do a little bit of work into the core. So let's place the feet down on the mat. Hands could be on the belly. Low belly is nice, just to kind of feel what's going on there. Take a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, gather your pelvic floor in and up and press your belly button back towards your spine. Okay, so we're keeping the spine the same, just kind of gathering everything in through the center. Inhale, and as you exhale, slide your right leg forward any amount, may or may not straighten all the way. And then gently bring the leg back in. So this is called heel slides. Okay. And then the left leg will slide out towards straight. And then you can bring it back up. So if you're sort of dragging your mat with you, just try to be a little bit lighter on the foot. And what I'd love for you to feel with your hands is that your belly muscles are drawing back towards the spine rather than popping forward. So really thinking of kind of gathering that belly button in and up towards your heart. Okay, if you want to add on a little bit, you could reach your arms up to the sky. And as the right leg goes out in front of you, the left arm could go up over your ear and then gathering them in together. And then the left leg straightens with the right arm going up behind you. Just a little bit of a different approach to the core here than what we often do. Really nice. And do about one more of those. Whenever you're even on the two sides, you can rest. So you can take soles of the feet together, knees open wide, or knees together, feet wide. Just take a couple nice soft breaths into your belly. Okay, then we'll try another one. So we'll set up the feet again underneath the knees. You can keep your head on the ground for sure, or you can interlace your fingers behind the back of your head and lift your shoulder blades up. So that's just going to add some more of your muscles here. Gather that belly in and up like we've been talking about. And we'll start with the marching. Okay, so lifting one foot, gently putting it down, lifting the other foot, gently putting that down. So let's just take a couple of these, making sure that the pelvis is staying nice and steady. We're not kind of stressing out the jaw and the neck. And then I'll give you an option to add on if you want to, okay? So I'm gonna lift up my right leg, gently place it down, and then I'm gonna slide it away any amount, and then up to the sky with the straight leg. Then I'm gonna lower that straight leg down, and then slide the heel back up. So we're kind of adding some movements together, okay? And then the left knee lifts first, and then comes down and slides towards straight. The leg comes up and then lowers, and then the knee bends, okay? Right leg lifts, lowers, straightening the leg, lifting the straight leg, lower down, and slide back up. So it's a lot of movements sort of in one. So take your time. And it doesn't matter to me too much where your breath is, because we're not doing a lot of compression here, okay? But just kind of being aware that the exhale tends to be where we get the power in the breath. And it helps to just follow that rhythm of your breath, okay? Keep drawing the belly in and up. And just going to that place where you feel some work, but you're not stressed. Take your time. Generally with core, the slower we go, the more intense it is. When we're using momentum, we're generally not using too much core. Really nice work, you guys. And I'm gonna go for about one more each side, which is again, quite a lot of movements. And then when you're even on the two sides, You can again take a rest, releasing soles of the feet together, knees open wide, or knees together, feet wide. Take some nice conscious breaths into your belly. Let's take a nice twist here. So what I'd love for you to do is gather both of your knees into your chest. And then hold on to the left knee and extend your right leg out long onto the mat in front of you. And you can pause here for a breath or two, just gently releasing the hip flexor, lower back. And then you can draw your left knee across your body to the right. So this can be a single knee twist. If that doesn't feel good on your back in any way, just go ahead and stack your two knees together, okay? And do draw the lower belly in a little bit. Okay, and then we'll gently come back through center, engaging the belly to return. Hug your knees in, and you might want to rock side to side just if your spine kind of wandered around a little bit there. And then hold your right leg, extend the left leg out long. Take a couple of breaths in this shape called Apanasana. And then you can take your knee gently across your body, reaching the right arm out to the right. And if it's more comfortable for your back to stack your knees, feel absolutely welcome to do that. Draw the lower back in a little bit. You can look to the right. And then gently gather your knees back in. You can give yourself a little hug, a little rock from side to side. And then what I'd love for you to do is either straighten your legs and flip back over onto your belly, okay? Or you can rock and roll forward and back along your spine. Okay, so either of those is fine. And we're gonna make our way back into hands and knees. After having done that work on the earth, let's take a couple more of those cat and cows and just kind of see how everything is feeling now. And if you're comfortable, let's come into a downward dog. So you can bring your hands a little bit farther forward, maybe a little wider. Press your hips up to the sky. And it's nice to step from side to side, bending one knee at a time, kind of massaging out the toes, heels, backs of the legs. Just keep that tiny bend in your elbows, kind of hug them towards each other and let the head relax. You could also take your feet about as wide as your mat, soften the knees a little bit, really working your weight into your legs, and then just lean your weight all the way over towards your left hip. And then all the way over towards your right hip. And then we'll come back through center and walk the feet to the hands, coming into standing forward bend. You can hang down here, maybe holding opposite elbows, maybe resting the elbows on the bent knees. You could sway, bend one knee at a time. When you're ready, you can bend the knees a lot, gather the belly in, and slowly curl yourself up to standing. Collecting the shoulders onto the back. When you get to the top, maybe there's a little bit of intuitive movement that you want to do there, rolling the shoulders or anything else. Or maybe you're simply standing in stillness, receiving this moment. Okay. And then when you're ready, let's reach the arms up to the sky as you inhale. And as you exhale, bend the knees and fold all the way over your legs. Take a halfway lift, pressing your hands into your shins and drawing forward. And as you exhale, gently melt over the legs. Bend your knees, look forward, rising all the way up. And as you exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Let's take a few more of those. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, diving down over your legs. Halfway lift. And gently fold. And the knees rising up. Hands to the heart. Let's take about 2 more rounds. I'm going to encourage you to just go ahead and follow your breath. You can add or subtract. If you're not so sure about the sequence, just think inhale up, exhale down. Not too far you can go here. Your feet on the ground. I'm just really listening for those full deep breaths. And eventually we'll meet back in standing again and take a moment to just receive, to feel. And then soften your knees a little bit and hook your thumbs so that the palms face forward. Reach up gently and then side stretch over to one side. Doesn't matter to me which one. Again, soft knees, long tail, soft neck. And then gently up through center and over to the other side. And then up through center, gently release your hands around behind your back. You can hook the thumbs again or interlace the fingers or grab your strap. Hug the elbows together, lift the heart, beam your heart to the sky, draw the shoulders down the back. You can lift the chin a little. Stay there or fold forward, bend your knees, hinge from your hips and let the fists rise. Gently release the hands to the earth as you next exhale. Take a halfway lift and then step back with your right foot. I'm going to come into a low lunge. You could do this as a high lunge or a warrior one if you don't want to have your knee down on the ground. You can also pad your knee. Okay. I'm not going to do anything too complicated here. Okay. And then go ahead and rise up. Square your hips. Draw the tailbone down and press the hips gently forward. So I'm hoping that you feel a little bit of a stretch in your kind of quadricep area. And then bend your right elbow, hold on to it with your left hand, press up into it, and softly side stretch to the left. Can't get enough of this pose lately. Breathing into your side body. And then gently rise up. We'll bring the hands to either side of the front foot, and you are more than welcome to use your blocks here. I'm just actually going to grab mine. So your leg is straightish, back hip is over top of the knee. Flex the foot. Let's take a couple breaths here. So inhale, lengthen, draw the left hip back. You can stay upright here, absolutely. You can also fold as you exhale. And if you want, you could flow, inhaling to draw the heart forward and exhaling to soften into it. Good. And then we'll look forward. And what I'd love for you to try is bend the front leg and just heel toe it over towards the right until your heel is roughly in line with your right knee. So you're in a little bit of a cross position. And then gently straighten the leg again. So we're in a very narrow version of the same pose. You can stay right here. You might already be feeling like, oh my goodness. Okay. If you want a little more, you can walk your hands with blocks to the outside of your front leg and stick your butt back behind you a little bit, lengthening the heart forward. Maybe folding. I definitely don't feel like I need to here. I feel like I've got plenty. Try to keep your toes pointed straight up to the sky. They're probably going to want to lean to the left. Maybe an exhale at the mouth. And then gently back through center. Bend the knee, softly heel toe just back to that hips distance apart position where we started. Tuck the back toes under and gently step back up to the top of the mat. Take a halfway lift, exhale and fold. And you can stay here, just kind of resting in your forward fold. If you want to move around a little bit, bending one knee at a time, for example, feel free to do that. Just take a moment. And then let's do that on the second side. So you can take a little halfway lift as you inhale, and as you exhale, step your left foot back and place the knee down on padding as needed. This works pretty well in Warrior One, I find, but for me, it's best with the knee down. So we're going to draw the tailbone down, hips gently forward, reaching the arms up to the sky. And then bend the left elbow, hold on to it with the right hand, and kind of press the elbow up into the hand as you lean to the right. Keep working the tailbone down and think length and lift for that left side rib. Okay, and then up through center. Gently release the hands and we'll straighten the front leg. I'm untucking my back toes. You could do that too if that's more comfortable. Little bend in the knee is great. Blocks are helpful here. They should just be comfortably underneath your shoulders. Lengthen your heart forward, draw the tail back. Maybe fold, maybe not. Maybe flow, maybe don't. But keep your foot active and keep drawing that right hip back behind you. Beautiful. And then we'll bend into the front leg and heel toe the foot a little bit to the left until it's like your knee and heel are standing on a tight rope. And then you can straighten the leg again. And this might already feel pretty intense. You can do a deeper cross. I find for most of us, this is plenty. Drawing the tailbone back, heart forward, and maybe walking your hands to the outside of the leg and just kind of seeing how that goes. Try to keep the toes pointed up to the sky, the heart nice and long. You could experiment with folding a bit, but I find it's really drawing the tail back and slightly to the left. As I lengthen my heart forward, that's where I really get that juicy stretch in the outer part of the leg. Keep in mind, none of this should hurt. There shouldn't be any burning or tingling or anything. If there is, please back off right away. This is one of those areas that can affect the knee and the lower back. Amazing. Let's gently come back. Center, bend the leg. You can walk it back into its initial position, tuck those back toes under and step forward nice and light. Halfway lift, exhale, fold, maybe out your mouth. And again, you can stay here, just releasing in your forward bend. And we'll roll up, taking as many breaths as you would like. Come back to standing. And again, when you get there, there may be some moving around that you want to do. There may be just being still. Oh, receiving that. Okay. So let's take the feet nice and wide apart so that you're facing the long edge of your mat. And then turn the right toes out and the left toes in a little, and we can come through Warrior Two to start, opening the arms up, softening the shoulders down the back. Let's turn the palms up today. Keep the spine nice and long and tall, but press the thumbs back gently so you feel your chest opening a bit. Keep your right knee, right over top of your ankle. And then let's try side angle. You can bring your elbow to your thigh and reach the left arm up or alongside your ear, pressing down through the outer edge of that back foot and gently turning your heart open to the sky. I'm kind of into side bends right now, so I like to be right here. You can go into the more hip opening version if you want to, bringing the left hand down on the inside of the leg, maybe a half bind with the left arm. Maybe even a full bind if you feel pretty open today. We have been doing a bit of prep for that, opening the shoulders. Okay, and then we'll gently rise back up and we'll simply switch sides. So you can turn to the long edge again, left toes out to the left, right toes in a little. Bending the knee right over top of the ankle, and we're starting in Warrior Two. Having one of those days with words, I think. Turning the palms up. And keeping the spine long as you press the thumbs back. So the idea there is we're not dipping into a big back bend. It's rather just gently opening the chest. Nice. And then let's come into side angle, bringing the elbow to the thigh. You can take your right bicep alongside your ear, lengthen that tailbone down and kind of puff up along the right side body. Press down and forward with your elbow so that you're not collapsing into your shoulder, but kind of pressing up out of it. And if you're interested in the more hip opening version or any other variation of this pose, you're welcome to go ahead and try that. But it is, for me, it changes the intention out of a side bend more into a hip opener. Both good, just different. Awesome. And then let's gently come back out. And I'd love for you to switch again, which side you're facing. But this time we're going to do triangle. So you may want to shorten your stance just a little bit. Okay. Keep a little bit of a bend in your front knee. And you want to see that it's kind of pointing in line with the toes and with the hips. So the hips tip back, reach forward with that right hand, gently place the hand on the shin, or could be on a block. You just want to avoid putting pressure on your knee joint, turning the heart open to the sky. Strong legs, including your glutes. We can add a neck stretch here, reaching that top hand, left hand towards the back of the room, palm faces down. Shoulders shrug onto the back, and then you can release some of the weight of your head towards the earth and explore that little bit of a neck stretch there. And by explore, I mean you could tilt the chin down or up. You'll have different sensations come through there, just gentle. Beautiful. And then look down. We'll gently rise up, and right away we'll go to the second side with triangle. So just switching the legs, adjusting your stance, a little bit of a bend in the knee, tipping the hips back, reaching forward. And I don't mind if you're putting a little bit of weight on your shin, but I want you to resist that with your shin. So you're not just dumping your weight onto the leg. You want to feel as if your quadricep, your side body, your obliques could kind of hold you up at any point. And if you'd like to add the neck stretch here, we can take that top hand, hover the palm over the hip, shrug the shoulders down, and experiment with releasing some of the weight of the head. Beautiful. And then let's gently look down, rise back up through center, and then we can take a forward fold with our legs nice and wide. So turning the feet to point towards the long edge of your mat. You might want to widen your stance a little depending on how you're feeling. Today, I really like this yoga mudra, interlacing the fingers behind the back and opening the shoulders. I feel like this area is just so tight for me right now. So you can do this with me. If you have another variation of this pose you like, that's fine. We're just going to do the one. So you can bend your knees a little bit and fold forward. The fists may come and rise over your head. You could also have, for example, your hands on the ground. Some of you like to play with a little teddy bear headstand here. Wherever you are, there could be a little bit of wiggling or even swaying from side to side. And then allow the hands to come down if they're not already. And let's transition through squat. So you can heel toe your feet a little closer together, maybe outer hips distance apart. Turn the toes out and gently sink down towards the earth. If this hurts at all, you have options. You can sit on blocks, you can put something underneath your heels, or you can just sit right down. If you're feeling like, nope, that's not for me today, that's fine. You can just take your feet nice and wide. Elbows to the inner thighs, palms together, shoulders down the back. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, let's let the bum come down. So you're seated. Your hands can come behind you, and we can take those windshield wipers again. Give your legs a little shake. Let's take another twist. So you may want to sit up on a little low cushion like this one. You may not need to. I find for the twists, it's nice to have a little bit of elevation. So I'm going to do my best to mirror you again today, though I seem to be having trouble with right and left. So I'll do my best. So you can take your right leg and step it over top of your left. Hold on to the knee for a moment and draw the shoulders back, just lifting the heart. So you can absolutely stay in this shape. Some of you might find that the bottom heel can come in comfortably and that works for you. And then sitting up nice and tall, take your right hand behind you. Left hand can hold the leg. You can hook the elbow. Some people like to take the elbow across. I personally like to hook the elbow around because I find there's something about that that just allows me to get a little bit of a smoother lift and twist. So lifting up through the chest, gently turning towards the back. And as we did earlier on in the class, if you'd like, you can take your right ear down towards your right shoulder and just come back to that neck stretch. And then softly return to center with your neck and then with your body. Release the legs and we'll come to the second side. So you can kind of untangle, you might want to wobble. And then take your left foot over top of your right. Right heel may or may not come in. For some people that works really easily. For some people it's like, I'm all twisty. You want both of your sit bones connected to the prop or the floor. Okay, you can hold on to the knee, just getting nice and tall out of the stretch. And then you can take your arm across, left hand behind you, lifting your heart up and gently spiraling. And if that neck stretch is resonating for you today, you can bring your left ear gently down towards your left shoulder. Okay, and then we'll gently bring the head back to neutral, turn back to center, release the legs, untangle them. You can give them a little wobble. So what I'd love to do now is a bit of hip opening into legs up the wall. Okay, if you don't have a wall, don't worry, we can do it all without a wall. But if you do have a wall that you can use, you can bring your mat up towards that wall now and we'll work there. The legs up the wall works fine with a couch or a chair or something like that, but the hip opener won't as much. So if you don't have a wall, feel free to just stay on your mat where you are. Okay, and I'm going to show without a wall first. You'll probably understand what I mean as we go through. So I'm going to lay down on my back. And if I have the wall here, I would just be, I would probably start about shins distance away from the wall. So it'd be kind of here rather than my bum right up against it for the hip opening part. Okay. And we're going to do thread the needle. So if you've got your legs against the wall, you're just going to place your right ankle on your left thigh and then bend the left leg until you feel something. So you're using the wall as a prop to help support you here. If you don't have a wall, you can just hold on to the back of that left leg with your interlaced fingers. Okay. Now, if you're at the wall and you're not feeling any stretch, you can shift yourself a little bit closer in. Okay, if it feels too intense or if your bum is kind of rolling off the ground, just move a bit farther away. And keep a little bit of a bend in your right foot, flexing the right foot. And I find at the wall, for me, this is quite soft and passive, but you can rock a little bit from side to side if you want to. That helps kind of soften up that hip area. And then when you feel ready, you can gently release. So even if you don't have a wall, I like to take the legs up to the sky and just give everything a nice little wobble. And then when you're ready, you can switch sides, taking the left ankle to the right thigh and gently drawing in. Feel free to adjust if you're at the wall and the two sides are a little bit different. You might need to come a bit closer or move a little bit farther away, and that's fine. Maybe there's a little rocking side to side here for you. Maybe not. Either way is okay. The rocking, I find, just tends to get into slightly different muscles and sometimes helps to loosen things up if they're quite tight. But some days stillness is just, it feels better. So try to listen to your intuition as best as you can there. Beautiful. And then we'll gently release the legs. You can again send them up towards the sky and give them a little shake. And then we'll make our way into our Shavasana, which ideally is legs up the wall if you have it. It's a really lovely Shavasana. You're also welcome to stay in it for a few breaths and then take Shavasana afterwards. We have about 5 minutes, so we've got a little bit of time. And if you're not yet at the wall, or if you're at the wall and you want some advice on how to get closer, I have a trick. And keep in mind your legs could go over a chair, a bed, a couch, a couple of bolsters, right? Or you're just laying in Shavasana, which is totally fine too. Okay, to come closer to the wall, I like to lay on my side and I just kind of use my elbow to snuggle my bum as close to the wall as possible. And then I roll up. And if anything, I find when I do that, I need to actually move away a bit. Okay, some ways that you can make legs up the wall feel nicer, especially if you're using it as Shavasana. Some people really like a prop underneath the bum or underneath the lower back. Neither is better. It's just elevating the hips a little bit in a way that ideally feels good for your lower back. You could put a blanket over your feet or over your torso. You could put a covering over your eyes. Usually in legs up the wall, I like my arms open to a T, not sure why. Hands could also be on the hips. So feel free to just find the place that feels most restorative for you, most restful for you. You might want to take a deep breath once you get to the place that is comfortable for you. And again, that could be Shavasana, which is simply laying flat on the earth, maybe legs over a bolster. It has a subtler but very similar feeling to legs up the wall. And then all you need to do is receive. Take a moment to notice how you're feeling right now. And if you have the time and you'd like to stay in your Shavasana or your legs up the wall a bit longer, please feel more than welcome to do that. Otherwise, you can begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe take a nice big stretch. Gather your knees in and softly roll to one side. And especially if you're coming off the wall, just take a few moments there. And eventually press yourself up to a seat. Hands could be over top of your heart or together. And take a moment to gently bow your mind to your hands, honoring and acknowledging whatever it took for you to get here to your practice today. Honoring and acknowledging the long and complex lineage of teachers that is with us in our yoga. Honoring and acknowledging the sacredness of the land that we practice on, and honoring each other. Thank you for sharing that practice with me.